This video, everybody, is about a man called Jamie Moreno. Moreno, sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. From South Wales, from Cardiff. He's been missing for 3 years. And the reason we're looking at this today is to look at how police deal with these investigations a little bit. We're going to touch on it. And also the fact that, tragically, a body was found yesterday, Sunday, by, let's guess, members of the public, right? So here's a little bit about him. Body found. Now, may I clarify that it's not confirmed yet. So we're simply looking at it as a find by the public. The police are obviously involved and they're treating it with suspicion at the moment. However, it's not confirmed, so we're not going to say anything about it being Mr. Moreno at the moment. Yeah, it's quite a serious case, this, guys. So there's Cardiff, as we know, South Wales. We're to the east of the centre. That little circle road there. Okay. Now, I'm briefly going to try and show you guys where we are looking at. So, again, it's by a river, right by the river. So, this body today, yesterday, was found right by the A48 Eastern Avenue, right there, in between the river and the road, closest to the road. As you can see, there's a travel lodge there, and a little path which goes over the main road, the little green stripe that goes over a bridge. Okay, that's all sealed off, all taped off, as we'll show you. You see that path goes then down to the south. We actually come down this road, the little white road there, and we cross underneath the main road in a subway, just there, as you can see. And then we walk along the river path, which is very muddy, as you'll see, along there, and we try to check out the area, basically, just to have a little walk along there. Most likely his last walked route, or if we go up here, it may have been this way also. There's a little lake there, a bit of a hill. The path goes underneath the road again there, which we'll show you, and again down south to the location. Both paths are right by the river. The river is currently in flood, as you'll see, very fast flowing. Anyway, here we are, Travel Lodge. As we showed you on the map, we're here. We parked up there. Now, I've got a very brief conversation with a guy who pulled over, and initially he thought I was shaming the police or something like that. I don't know what he said. Now, I've deleted the whole conversation with him out of respect because, you know, he was a friend, a very close friend of the deceased, well, who we think is the deceased, okay? But anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at this crime scene now, and we're going to point out that the police have found this missing person, right? Bearing in mind for the 3 years, they haven't had a clue what's happened, right? Look at this, right? Lovely flowers there. They've sealed the scene off with tape, right? I know that you guys know why I'm stating that, right? Tape. That to me says that you don't go in there, right? And it goes all the way down there. Okay, and we're nowhere near the location. We've got the main road just underneath those trees over there, see? But already it's forensically shut off here, right? At this point, I wasn't sure where the location was. It wasn't until this man down here in the Mini had a chat with me, again off camera, and he explained to me where it was. And I do thank him for that information, okay? We're going to revert now to a very brief conversation with this man. You can't hear that well. Do apologise. It was very windy, very bad weather there today. And of course, I've lost my GoPro and I've had to buy a cheapish phone, and the camera quality and the sound recording quality is not the best. But here we go.
I just hear like bullshit, you. Yeah. When I say he was my best mate, he's my daughter's uncle. I was with his sister for 23 years. And I worked with him for about 20 then. So mate, I am absolutely devastated.
So the man I just spoke to, he went out yesterday on Sunday with a team of people looking for this man randomly, you know, obviously they planned this and said, you know what, we're going to have another look for him, right? They asked the police. The police said, no, we're not coming with you. Like, you're not going to find him. It's been 3 years, you know. They basically sort of dismissed the idea. Within 20 minutes, guys, 20 minutes, this man and his team tragically found human remains in this location. How bad is that? So, guys, we just spoke to this guy's best friend. He's really annoyed with the police here because they searched yesterday, Sunday, the public did, and they told the police they were going to search and asked them for help. The police refused. The inspector refused and said there's no point looking, you're not going to find him, basically. And we may open it again at some point in the future. And then, within 20 minutes, according to this man, they found him, and he was one of them, the man I just spoke to. They're really annoyed with the police for not doing enough. Apparently the police didn't do a proper search in the first place. Again, I'm not to comment on that, I wasn't there. But that's just what he said. Had they used a certain type of dog at the time, apparently they'd have found him. This police force doesn't use that type of dog, apparently. So what we're going to do, we're going to walk, we're going to drive down as it's raining, look, you can see. We're going to drive down and we're going to try and go into the subway to the other side of the road there, the main road. And that's where he was found. So we're going to have a little look, see if we can talk to any police officers over there. And as you saw back there, quite clearly a crime scene, taped off, forensic tent there. Therefore, I wouldn't even attempt to go in there because there's tape clearly marking it off. Okay. So I've been diverted down here by that gentleman. The weather was really bad, so we had to drive. Now down here, there's a subway underneath the main road on my left. There we go. There's a subway underneath there. It goes along the river, as I showed you on the map, and to the location. Now, the idea of going near the location is I just want to see if the police have, you know, what they're doing, if they've sealed anything off, if the police have got a comment to make at all. Again, I've no idea where we are. Okay, so I'm literally just going to walk through and just see what's what, really. That's the idea of the videos, of course. Now, this would have been probably this man's last route, or the other way, which we'll show you after. So really, the idea of the video is also to show people, be it 3 years later, sadly, this man is this is his probably last route down here and underneath the subway. And honestly, everybody, it's not a very nice subway, this. I wouldn't want to be down here at night time, I tell you that. All these locations we come to, they do have a strange vibe, I must say. The Manchester one had a strange vibe as well. And this subway, I mean, I don't know if the video does it justice, but it was extremely dark, and we're, you know, middle of the daytime here. And it was very low. Very, very low subway. I mean, I'm not very tall. I'm about 5'8". And, you know, it's quite low for me. So, yeah. Whilst we're walking, and everybody's going to be just examining stuff as we walk, just going to briefly touch on how these crime scenes or missing persons are dealt with by the police. Now, what I wanted to mention really is when a missing person goes missing, right, obviously the police look at all options. But when nothing points at suspicion and when nothing points at a crime committed, it doesn't mean a crime isn't committed, but when there's no blatant evidence, obviously the natural thing to do is to presume that it's a missing persons case, or possibly suicide, you know, you never know, but generally no criminality is thought of unless there's evidence, right? Now, that time passes, however, at that beginning stage, in my opinion, the police should preserve all evidence as if it were a crime scene, right? So then if later a crime is found to be committed, they've already done the due diligence and collected any evidence, right? I'm not saying they don't do that, but that's what should be done, right? Maybe some forces do, some don't. Maybe some policemen are less experienced. Maybe, you know, it's going to be different everywhere, right? But in my opinion, it should be done no matter what, right? Anyway, moving forward to when the person's found. in this case, we're talking about 3 years later, right? So the police have to deal with this and act and presume that, one, it is the person who sadly we think it is, right? Number two, they have to deal with it as a crime scene, because they may well find evidence with the body to say that a crime was committed, right? So it's no good them treating it as a missing persons case up until they're for sure that that's the case, right? So in my opinion, again, only my opinion, in these situations when the body is found, even if the body's found in a situation where the police had thought it was going to be, right? Let's say they say the man jumped off a cliff and they find the body at the bottom of the cliff. So it all fits the police story, right? But what if the man was pushed? We just never know, right? So that's why when a body is found, even if it's a missing persons case to begin with, that area should be treated as a crime scene. So I don't know how the police work. I don't know certain things they do and don't do. But in my opinion, it should be sealed off to the public, and sealed off in a manner that if all the police are busy physically, it's obvious to anybody that it's sealed off, right? So as you can see here, we've reached near the area. And I only know this because there's tape and there's a police car, right? So we had a little walk up, and quite clearly there's police tape, right? And even though it's quite a messy area, it's obvious that the police do not want anybody going past that point, right? So I respected that and I stayed where I was. Now, as you can see, there's a forensics tent up over there. Presumably they used that for privacy, just in case the media were to turn up or they were to get a drone above there. The area's covered, right? So, in my opinion, that's, this is how it should be done, right? Again, I have no idea what's happened here. We haven't been told any details, right? But they're looking at it to check if a crime was committed, preserving evidence, presumably, okay? So in my opinion, that's what every missing persons case should be treated like, because it's no good treating it as missing persons, because if you do find something untoward down the line, you've missed so many opportunities, haven't you? Right? Now, this river was an interesting river. It was obviously in flood, very high, about to burst the banks, very fast flowing, very powerful, and presumably very deep. But here we have another person found near water, and I am just shocked. I am truly shocked that it's taken 3 years to find this person. Now, it's not the most woody, woodland, foresty area here, yeah? As you saw, it was quite muddy to get to today, but it's next to a main road. It's right next to a main road, and it's on a path, right? So I'm shocked that the police searched this area thoroughly at the time. Of course they did, right? We have to presume they did. But they didn't find anybody, right? And then this man and his team yesterday, they decided to conduct another search, because it's been 3 years and there's no word. The police said no digital footprint had been left since then. So this man and his team took it upon themselves to do a walk. They did a walk yesterday, and he tells me that within 20 minutes they found him, right? How does that look? I mean, to me, it looks like whoever searched when he initially went missing didn't search hard enough, right? Now, did they treat it as a missing persons case from the beginning? We don't know. We don't know. This is Gwent Police, South Wales Police. I've got no idea how they deal with things, if they're good or they're bad or they're thorough. I've no idea. You would hope they're thorough. This crime scene here looks all professionally done. It looks like it should do, in my opinion, from seeing the TV and from previous, sort of sightings of crime scenes like that. But did they treat it as missing persons from day one? Is that why they didn't really look as such for a body. They just looked for a missing person. And you wouldn't look down here for a missing person, would you, really? I mean, you probably would, just to tick the boxes, but you wouldn't really look for a missing person down here. I mean, they're not going to be sat down here crying, are they? They're not going to be chilling out, you know? Missing people generally going missing. They generally want to go missing. So, yeah. Do we think that the police at the time treated it like a missing persons case and they did not look for a body? I'm speaking of this case, you know, to get people's heads going into many, many, many other cases in the UK. Just highlighting that I think at the time when a person goes missing, we have to treat it that a crime's happened. Because if a crime hasn't happened, okay, they turn up and we find them. Or maybe we never find them and they never turn up, right? But if we've eliminated the crime first, then that's okay. In my opinion, that's okay, because that's fine. You know, if later down the line, like this now, you find a body 3 years later and you've been working on a missing persons case for 3 years, you know, you're going to be like, hold on a minute. Maybe there was a crime committed here. Had we thought about this in the first place, or had we prioritized it as a possible murder in the first place, they may well have found the person quicker, if tragically it is Jamie, and they would of course have more evidence back then on the person of the area. You know, you're never going to find any evidence here now. Look at it. It's completely wet through. 3 years of movement, 3 years of people walking their dogs, 3 years of everything. So it goes without saying, it would have been better to be done at the time if they would have found him. I'm shocked. I think people watching will be shocked. So what we're going to do, everyone, we're going to look at this case a little bit. We're going to see where it goes. We're going to see how the police deal with it and see if they rule out a crime or if they rule a crime has been committed and they're appealing for information. We didn't hang around here very long because, of course, there's a crime scene there. The police are doing their job and we don't want to, you know, we don't want to interfere with that. We don't want to get in the way. We don't want to annoy them with filming or anything like that. Just wanted to quickly show people where this case is, what's going on, and talk about how they're dealt with, because I feel like there's a lot of cases in the UK where missing persons are just dealt with like, oh, it's just a missing persons case, you know, and the resources are not put in, the time and effort isn't put in to find a possible body. I know it's not the nice thing to talk about, but that's the possibility at the end of the day, isn't it? So I feel like this should be the priority from day one. And then obviously if it's better than that, then great. But anyway, so this area I got lost. I tried to get back to the subway and I got lost and figured out that, okay, I think I need to turn back because this ain't going nowhere. And yeah, I think we're going to turn back and go the other way. So we made it back to the subway. Again, this subway, this end, was again looking a little bit dodgy. Didn't really like it down here. Wouldn't want to be here at night time. We walk under the road. We get in the car. We drive back up the road, past the travel lodge, and we go down to the lake, which we show you on video, which is the other route that this man possibly went. It was either this route or this route here. This route is past the travel lodge, and then we walk. Travel lodge is just down there on the left. Walk over this field, down a hill. There's a lake on the left-hand side of the path, and as I say, this man, whoever has been found, if it is Jamie or somebody else, they either walked this way or they walked the way we've just been. There's no other way there. The river is in the way. So, what are we thinking? Are we thinking that this person has just tragically passed away there? Or are we thinking that something's happened? Because the thing is, in a lot of these cases, okay, if something has happened, a crime, that person who's done it is still out there. And we all know that criminals have a pattern of behaviour. Well, most do, let's say. Especially people who go on to kill people and certain serious offences like that. They seem to basically not do it only once, right? So you would think that if somebody's responsible for this and it wasn't just a heat of the moment argument, the chances are that offender is going to go on and do it again. So my question is that offender, if there is an offender, are they still killing people? Have they killed anybody else? Are there any other unsolved murders in the country similar, where somebody out there has that mindset that for whatever reason, that's what they do, you know? Or is it a case of somebody just got anger problems and they had an argument and it went too far? But again, that's the type of person that you don't want to have on the streets. That's the type of person who needs to be taken off the streets and brought to justice, right? So yeah, this subway going under the road, the other end, was a very nasty place as well. I wouldn't want to be here at night. I didn't want to be there in the daytime, to be fair. Yeah, just like the Manchester with Peter Baglin, this area feels pretty, just not good. Not good. And it was a lot darker than on the video. The video seems to make it a lot lighter. That's the technology for you. So we're back down by the river here. The same river that we were just on, and all we're going to do, we're just going to show everybody where we are. There we go. I can't read any of that, it's in Welsh. And basically this man either walked this way or the other way. This way is a high possibility because you've got the housing estate there, and then it goes down to where the police were. So yeah, there's the river. It was quite a strange looking river, and I say that probably because it was so high and quite fast. You know, you're not used to seeing rivers like that. It's normally calmer, still water, you know, and all of a sudden it's rained and you're like, wow, the river's moving pretty quick. And presumably it's only going to come up higher with all the rain we've had. So where we are now will be underwater. So we're going to end the video soon. We're going to look into another case very, very close to this area, actually. Where that person was murdered, sadly. And the people who did it are still out there. They haven't got enough evidence to charge them. So we'll look at that next time. What are people's opinions on this? And what are people's opinions on the whole missing persons case, murders? Do you think that missing persons cases should be treated as a crime scene from day one, up until it's ruled out? And really, you can't rule it out until the body's found and you've done all your tests and your forensic examinations, right? In my opinion, you can't. We're going to look into on the next video as well how an inquest is done and how an inquest was done with the other case that we're going to look at, so people have an idea about what to do on inquest, what to expect with an inquest. Thanks for the support, everybody. As you guys know, I can't post videos on the other case at the moment. That's why I've gone quiet regarding that case. So we're going to look at other cases as well at the moment. Okay, we can't focus on one case. A lot of channels are only focusing on one case, and I think that's a mistake. So we're going to look at other cases at the moment. We're forced to do that, and we look forward to the next video. Thanks very much, guys.